Welcome to Monday Night Live Chat. I am trying to share things on Facebook and it is not working.
You know, there's the lag when you're watching the feed on the YouTube channel. Like that's what I just saw. It was all black screen, and then it was just you going.
Trying to share things out, man, and my internet has been so bad like the last 3 weeks. I wake up some mornings to get on chat for windowcleaner.com, and my internet is just down. And it's early in the morning. And in our first world problem world, that's a big issue. So It just gets me riled up. So
I was talking to a lady in my office today and about that. I'm like, I know this sounds petty, but when you work on the internet, everything involves the internet. Every form from my phone to computer to text, everything is on the internet. If that goes down, it's just, you're like,
it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. Well, it's been a while since we've been on here. Gosh, I want to say that the last time we were on here was after the convention. And then
you can really tell you've aged since we've seen each other. It's been so long.
A beard and everything. It's I found a few more white ones. I don't know what's going on here with my hair, but we don't care about hair on this. It doesn't matter. We got to go out to the warehouse. If you got any questions about the warehouse, put it in the comments. That was really cool to see that. And then we also went and did high-rise training with safety green training with Jeffrey Scott. And
so good.
That was really cool. It was so much fun to be able to learn about something when being in a industry for so long and not knowing much about it at all. Yeah. And to see how much work goes into like high-rise window cleaning, as far as bringing all the gear up, the rope up, I have a huge newfound respect for high-rise guys. Like Josh had time, doing a little bit of high-rise stuff, but I didn't. So I was like totally green in all of it. But Jeffrey Scott, if you ever need like a really good place, and this is not a plug based on like we're getting paid or anything about that, but that guy is thorough and just knows exactly what he's doing. By the time you get on the ropes and actually do a drop, you will feel so safe that you won't even have a question in your mind of doing it. And that's how I felt being at the class, and it was just awesome. It was a good experience.
Even the boring stuff, or what he claimed as boring, was like super. I was like super into.
Yeah. Oh, it's something it's just all the OSHA rules and just what you need to do it correct is it's a whole different wheelhouse as far as I'm concerned. It's a lot, but it's really cool.
There will be a video coming out of SteveO making the drop, by the way.
Yes. I was
just like a week away.
I was like vibrating. And I told you before we did, I was like, I'm going to shake, but I'm going to do it. It's okay. That's just what's going to happen.
Explain high rise to everybody, just like real quickly, like climbing over that wall, like what's in your brain? Like,
well, the good thing is that like climbing over the wall, yes, it's a very weird experience to put your legs over the wall. But I thought of it like this, like when you get put on a ladder and you're getting off the roof onto a ladder, it's kind of a very similar action. But when you're doing that, you're not tied into anything. But this, you're tied into 2 points of contact. You have the, I'm going to mess up some of like the lingo here, but you basically have a safety line. And then you have another line that you're on that you don't get off until you get over and actually get secure into your other lines. You always have 2 points of contact. You never, ever have just one. So getting over and like standing on your, what's the name they have for the seat again?
That is a bosun chair.
Bosun chair. So when you actually put your feet in there and you kind of feel everything kind of stand up on it, I don't know if you're able to always do that, but in our situation, we were. Yeah. So to be able to do that, kind of feel the rope set, and then you just know that like, okay, now I got to get down and sit in it and then secure that was awesome. And then from there, unless you, and this is just me talking from one drop, so understand that. And this was a 12-story building, and I know people do a lot higher. But, it's kind of weird in that you don't really see down. You're just kind of looking at a wall. So it's almost like that idea of like looking out and being scared of height. It kind of doesn't happen as much as you think it would. I guess that's what I would explain it as. But I mean, everything that we did was just awesome as far as doing all that. So how many of you in the comments have ever done high rise?
That's a really good question. By the way, we usually always do shout outs to all the peeps that are here. Real quick, Damien, of course, he's first. Glass Monkey, Levi S, Missed One is here. Spotless Pain, the man himself. Squeegee Puller, Johnny Ringo. Okay, so there was a show that I did with Michael Mole like years ago called the Mole and Jersey Show. It was a window cleaning, like it was just like a fun half hour, right?
Yeah.
And our purpose thing, every time we give shout outs, we'd say everybody's name wrong. That was just like our hidden thing every single time. And we actually got people their name named wrong so often that people in their own offices were calling them the wrong name. Thought that was fun. Anyway, what's up to window guys? Roman, what's there? What's going on? Alex Tries is here. Victor, what's going on? Just Jacob is here. Kev Dog is here. Cole Larson. Anyway, there you go.
Damien, 8 years on the ropes. Did you ever know that about Damien?
I didn't.
I did not know that. That is awesome. That is awesome, man. It was funny being out there because I guess the Denver high-rise market is kind of in this flux of one of the large companies stopped, and there's kind of this market for it. I ain't going into the market for it, but Damien, you could. I've been 3 stories on a ladder, and that was much as I could do, but never done high-rise window cleaning. You know what, though? 3 stories on a ladder is a little bit different than being like secured in a ropes and on a chair, I would have to say. You know,
it's
like,
different, but puckery's still the same, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Like I did a lot of filming, and I was right there on the edge, and for some reason, my brain this time didn't like register the height, and I just was like, look, I'm like, oh, cool. Like I just had nothing like in my brain about fear for the height.
When you were first doing that, and I was watching you do it, I puckered. I was like about 20 feet back, and I was like, oh man, he's about to go over. Oh man, he's about to go over. So many times it went through my mind.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's so good though. Like the jump was good, the gear was good, the fill in the blank, the crew was good. Anyway, it was good.
Just Jacob. I used to build high rises and did a lot of swing stage work, but never cleaned windows. Oh man. Yeah, there were people there too that weren't even going there for window cleaning and glazers. Yeah, so I mean, it was a really cool class. Got to meet a lot of cool people. So, and then let's see what else happened in all this time. I don't even know.
It's been so much.
Yeah,
we did that. We went to the warehouse. The warehouse was awesome. That was good. We filmed. We were gone like a whole week, and it felt like a night. Yeah. It was a long week.
It was a long week. Yeah, it was a long week. It was good though. Any new things come out, or anybody have any questions? I know we titled this "How to Sell Route Work." Anybody have questions about route work?
Yeah, I do. I have a question for you. Okay. Going into the slow season, are you ramping up for your route work? Like in your head, do you start thinking, okay, well, I'm going to sell the crap out of it this year? I know you're in a different position, but like normally would you?
Yes, 100%. 100%. And that when I was just full-time window cleaning, I was always trying to build up my route. No matter where I was always handing out cards, handing out prices. I don't do that anymore because I'm not trying to grow at all. But I would just constantly, every time I was in the area that I'd stopped in somewhere, I always stopped back in. I always tell people when they ask me about, like 2 weeks in, they'll be like, well, no one's saying yes. A route takes time to like grow. Like it really does. Like even if you were hitting 25 stores a day and maybe signing up 1 to 2, you got to think about how long that takes to build. Like, if you could build a good route in a year, that would be impressive to me. I think really 1 to 2 years is what's really needed to really build a good storefront route. Like Jacob's mentioning here, like a residential route. You could always build a residential route, but it may not be as consistent as storefronts. In saying that, I've never been huge on building residential routes, so I couldn't like speak to everything about it. But I really think that if you wanted to build like a storefront route, it's going to take a lot of time on the pavement. And I don't think there's any easy way to get route work. Like,
no.
How many times?
There's no blanket effect. You can't just blanket it.
No. Yeah. It's not like residential. Like residential, once you go on residential, I mean, if you're good at residential, it's not going to stop as far as people coming to you, getting referred to you. It's just that way. Yeah. So, I mean, I would definitely ramp it up, especially, I don't know if you like mentally do this, but when you're mentally like so busy, you almost are like at this point where you're like, I don't want any more work right now. But once that even slips away for like a week, your mind goes into, this doesn't feel normal. And boom, you go into, all right, I'm going to start pushing and selling and stuff like that. So that naturally happens. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would go it.
My big thing is that nobody else is doing route work in the winter. I know they are, but like, that's my brain. Like, everybody's sucking. They're either not there, or they're not showing up, or they're not something. So selling route work this time, not this time, but this winter, going into winter, is the best time, because by the time winter kicks in, those other guys are on a beach somewhere. They're not doing the work anyway, and I'm going to just steal it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And winter's a great time to get a bunch of route work, even on the hard days of going out, because a lot of people who, this is like a part-time gig for them for 7-8 months, they go out, they get some storefronts, boom, it turns winter, and boom, they don't come back until spring. Yeah. That's not going to work for a regular business. So I can't tell you how many people that I've seen that do route work that quit 2 weeks into winter, and then also just how many accounts you can grab during that time, just because people aren't following up with their, their businesses, and they're not cleaning.
Yeah. I want to say, first off, Zach Bunch just said the economy is crashing. Are you ready for that? Do you think the economy is crashing?
I don't feel it personally, but I mean, I have been talking to quite a few window cleaners. This was in Utah though. And work was getting scarce, like really weirdly scarce, even for big companies. So I have seen like a small trickle, but I haven't seen anything to me that's like, oh yeah, like it's happening. I haven't seen anything myself.
Yeah. I would love for you to jump on and let me know what your thoughts are. If you think the economy is going to drop or not. Spotless just said he hasn't felt it. I'd like to hear from everybody else.
Yeah. But Zach's just about 40 minutes away from me. So,
oh, really? Nice.
Yeah.
Window Guys comes in and says busier than ever.
There you go. Always cleaning massive buildings. Always. No. Hey, Victor Garul had a good question. Has anyone ever done window tinting for a customer? I've been asked to replace the tint on 4 doors. Never done it. Looks easy, question. Have you ever done that? I've never put on tint.
I've never done tint ever. I have watched people do it. I knew a guy who was a 3M installer, and we did a lot of jobs together because he hated cleaning windows, which is ironic, but I'd go in there and like clean stuff. He'd tint my clean window, and then I'd wait for one. And then as soon as he's ready to clean it, go back and clean his other one. And we would just do that. And they're super fast and they're really good at what they do, but I've never done it. I know there's good money in it though.
Yeah. Now let me ask you a question, kind of like off topic, but what's the one thing you would do on the first day of fall for your business?
Man, buckle up. I don't know. Like, I never was on the seasons because I'd always prepare for the season. That makes sense.
Let me ask you a different way then. What is one way that you would get new customers on the first day of fall? Or not new, but returned, just get a bunch of work going, basically.
Yes. My biggest thing that I would ever do is call list. Even if you're doing the dentist close, the call list is huge because you're reminding people that you exist, you're getting people in, and man, there's so many people. You're like, hey, just putting together a fall list and it didn't see on there. I thought I'd give you a call and see what day a week works best for you. And they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally forgot. Thanks for calling. You got any Wednesdays? But like, yeah, I got Wednesday the 22nd. Like, I just fill so much work up within like literally. I mean, our call list took us weeks to do, but it was just like every day we were booking. We would do postcards, and then we would start just blasting gutters because where I was in Wisconsin is like as soon as the first frost or like freeze hit, gutters are done for the year. It never unfreezes. So it's like you're like rushing. And then as soon as that first ice hits, it's like, well, we got these, 28 people I got on for spring now.
Yeah. Well, Damien said kind of what I was thinking too was like a mass email. We always did that the first day of every new season. Yeah. No matter, even winter, it was just like why not? Like, even if the work's going to stink, why not do it? And we always did it, and it would just scrounge up a bunch of work, fill in the schedule for like right at the beginning, and then that would just trickle through.
I don't want to make an enemy. And Victor, I don't know that we've talked a whole lot, but you do a 20% discount for customers.
Don't need it.
That is crazy. I would 100,000% not do that. I would do everything that you just did to get that, to offer the 20%, but just don't offer anything. Call them and do the exact same thing. Hey, it's Victor. I'd love to get you into window cleaning. And instead of saying, and to get you there, I give you 20%, like, don't say that part, and I guarantee you nothing will change. Yep. And you'll make 20% more.
Yeah.
And 20% is a crazy, crazy high amount. But do your thing. Like, your business is yours. You can do it however you want, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, I feel you on the same topic, is that I think it would surprise you how much just a communicating with your customers that you have already done work for is going to bring in quite a bit of work, rather than having to do any kind of discount, because the fall can be insanely busy. So you have to ramp up for that. So all of a sudden you book up a month with a bunch of jobs that are 20% off. And then all of a sudden you're getting calls from people who want to pay full price. And now you're booked. I can't do it. So that's something to think about.
Here's another thing. People hire you, Victor, because you're Victor. People literally go with you because you're you, right? When you see discounts, that's like a food place that somebody's like, well, there's 100 different food places and you have no loyalty to us. So come here. Here's a coupon, right? In window cleaning, there's only one Victor Gurul. If I said that right. Gurul.
You said that right. Yeah.
There's only one Victor, right? So not having a discount, it doesn't make anybody who loves you want to go with you again because of the discount. So anyway, I'm off that. Just figured so.
There you go. There you go. So the X Crafter asked the question, how should I start up business, price out storefront jobs, exterior only? Ooh, what's our price exterior? So here's one thing to think about when you're talking about exterior only on a storefront. Exterior only on a storefront could be 3 windows, right? So you right away, you want to charge a minimum. I would think that these days, I think you could easily charge a $35 to $40 minimum. I really think so. I don't think that's a problem for somebody wanting a insured, reliable business. It's just easy. But
what's your per pane price on a route? I want to know.
Right. I do $4 now. $4
per pane outside?
No, that's like in and out. That's like a typical like 3x4.
You get a $2 per pane per side.
Pretty much, yeah. At that, I can make a tremendously. I feel like I could train anybody and have them working well above $65 an hour easily in this area for sure. Yeah.
$2 is right there. Yeah, $2 like $1.50 to $2 per pane per side is pretty spot on. Now, here's a question for you: do you always offer inside out window cleaning and outside, or do you only do? You do, okay. Yep. See, I'm opposite. I always do only outside unless somebody actually asks me for inside, because I want to be like fast.
No, I always push for in and out because I like in and out because it gives the full effect. Like when I do a residential, I want to do in and out. Like, yes, outside onlys are so nice to do because it's exactly like you said. It's quick. It's in and out. I mean, it's quick. It's outside only. You're done. But in and out, like the job I did today, if I would not done in and out, that customer would have known nothing about other than that there was a shine on the outside of their windows when they went outside. But if they're looking from the inside out, oh my gosh, it would have been horrible. So yeah, I'll tell you what, I had a job Sunday where I cleaned 35 windows and I was there for 7.5 hours, inside only. It was the worst job I've ever done, I think, in my life. And that what somebody had done is removed, not tint, but something that was stuck to the glass high up, bakes in the sun, right on the side in Colorado that just gets hit all year long. And man, it was like etched with glue and just, I had to use oil flow.
Oh man.
And you know how strong that stuff is. And there was a time I just had like the towel like wrapped around my face just to like keep the smell down. And then I got to a point where I got used to it and just didn't have it anymore.
Dang.
But was just rubbing that like all over the glass to get it looking better. But it was like one of those really frustrating jobs where you look up at everything, you're like, this is as good as it gets. It's just not going to get better. And but yeah, I thought I was going to be there for 2.5 hours, and I was there for about 7, and I was just sore, just freaking sore. But I just wanted to complain and let you all know.
Yeah. That sucks.
Yeah.
I just want to say what's up to Woodtick Mike is here. He's lurking. I don't know. I've never seen the name come across. I don't know if he's like a woodworker guy or just a wood tip guy, but
he's a newbie.
Craig is here. What's going on? Craig is the smartest guy in the group, saying #1 clip. Alex is wrong at 2 clips, but there is a question. Well, first off, Cole says $65 an hour. I get paid $22 and been with the company for 6 years. That's because you've been with the company as opposed to owning the company. $65, he was saying 65. That's a low end. That's like a good route price. But on houses, you're doing $75 to $100 a man hour.
Oh, yeah.
And that also answers the question about 3. What was it? Vegas Collector said, how much money would you expect a crew of 3 to pull in per day? A crew of 3 is going to be less efficient than a crew of 2. Keep that in mind. But
yeah. Go ahead.
But you're still 65 on the low end for a crew of 3, probably. If you had a crew of 2, probably $75, $80 an hour, maybe.
We would do a crew of 3 sometimes in the winter, like just for fun. Where it was just like, we're not going to make much money today, but let's just go have a good day and make it easy, you know?
Yep.
And we would do that. But yeah, it was always, you'd look back at the day and look at the total and be like, didn't work out well. Commercial jobs, if you have a job all day, that's really good for 3 people. But yeah.
Crew of 3. This is where a crew of 2, you have an inside and outside guy. The inside guy watches the outside guy, and they work together in tandem. If you throw a third one in, what do? Right? So now they're standing around waiting for somebody else because those 2 are in communication. So having a third guy, always there's more standing around. There's always one guy talking to customers, one guy packing up. One guy, there's always the 2, when you have 3, it starts screwing things up a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah. I've only worked in a crew of 3 where we could always do like 2,500 a day, 2,600 a day. But that was because we all just worked. Like we all just knew what each other was doing. We didn't bother each other. Once a job was done, boom, we're at the next job. So it does take that's a hard one. That's a hard one to make money at no matter what. You have to be a well-fined crew to be able to do that well.
Yep. Here's a question for everybody in the comments. What is your minimum? I want to know your house, your residential minimum, and I want to know your route minimum.
Yes.
I want to know, what you do. #1 clip is still winning. I'll say route now and then.
Got to balance it out.
Actually, you want to know something funny? So Steve and I did have that whole trip together, and the the iPhone or something, the navigation was like, continue on the route. I'm like, oh, maybe it's right. And you're like, I told you. It's still wrong, but
that's okay. I'll take it. Oh, wow. Glass Monkey minimum on route is 50. I thought I said 150. Okay, good. Yeah. It's Kev Dog. You can definitely pick it up from $15. Definitely. Just do it, and it will totally work. No problem. At least go up $10. At least to 25. Yep. You could definitely do it. Easy.
Woodtick is actually a screens, cranks, and glazer guy. He was a Marvin, I think it said. Yeah, Marvin window worker. So he knows. Marvin's good. If you were like a Newcastle installer, we'd have some words, but Marvin was pretty good.
Newcastle. Is that something in Wisconsin or what?
That's a glass. You know, are you messing with me, or what?
I don't know Newcastle.
Really?
No. I don't keep up with like what glass companies are making what glass.
Yeah. Okay, so these opinions are my opinions and solely my opinions, and do not reflect against SteveO the Window Cleaner and any of his enterprises. But Newcastle glass is the dirtiest glass that there is. So talk about fabricating debris. I guarantee that 75% for even numbers of the glass that you find that has issues will say Newcastle on it.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually don't think in my area I've ever seen Newcastle on anything.
No?
No.
There you go.
I don't know. I always see Anderson, Marvin, Pella.
Well, you're talking about the window, not the glass, right?
True.
Or because I don't know.
Like you're talking about the tag, like in the corner that will say.
Yeah. Well, yes. So high-end windows will usually be marked with the maker of the window. So like Marvin, Andrew Renewal by Anderson, that kind of thing, maybe. But the glass itself is the Newcastle thing. I don't think they make windows. I think they're just a glass manufacturer.
Oh, okay. I hear you. All right. See, oh, yep, Glass Monkey. Never seen Newcastle in my area. Nope, not in Colorado whatsoever, Drizzy. It's just not here.
You and your Colorado friends just hang out.
Yeah, well, it's cool. It's a cool place to be. Yeah. Oh, see, just Jacob actually agreed with you. The Castle Glass is straight garbage.
I figured he would just disagree with me just because it was me, but
I want to put this out there. If none of you watch Squeegee Life, just Jacob now has a tool time on the Squeegee Life where he goes over a tool. So I would expect you guys to all check that out. They'll be on Thursdays. And it's just an amazing segment. Just amazing. The details that he knows about these tools, it's amazing.
He's not talking about himself?
No, no.
Get it. I called you a tool, Jacob.
Oh.
I see.
That's good.
The window guy, as he came in and said Jacob equals tool. See?
But the first episode they had of it was just great because TJ like restarted like the whatever the thing he had with it before, and it was just one of those moments that you watch and you're just cracking up the whole entire time. I got a kick out of it. I even probably messaged Jacob. I was like, "That's great. It's awesome." All right. Well, away from that. Anyways, what's the next question, Josh?
Yeah. So I'm looking at all these dollar amounts, and it really seems pretty. I think anything that's really skewed might be just people messing around. But like Craig's storefront's $20, but his residential is $300, which is probably one of the highest residential minimums I've seen. So he must do a ton of ins and outs work. Victor's small house for 120, so his minimum is at 120 there. Alex is $100 residential minimum. I think on a minimum, I think 150 should be the lowest of the minimums. I think for absolutely, because I've had it too. And here's the other problem. If you do a house for $40 because it's a little old lady who's on a fixed income and it's an apartment, that's cool. Do your thing. Like, know that you're doing that to make yourself feel good. Like that's awesome. Do that. But business wise, I think that you can probably hit that 150 mark. I would say is like a real minimum. But like you said, 199 is our minimum for kind of residential stuff. So,
yeah, I agree. I used to do like years ago, like a 125, and you would feel like it just wouldn't work. And then you would have the customer say, "Well, what does 125 consist of?" Oh man, okay, now let's like nickel and dime the whole entire job and put a list of like which windows you want to do to keep it under 125, and you spend more time in the home or the job of them saying, "Well, I want that one," and then it turns into that you've done every single window except for one.
I won't do partial jobs. The only time I'll do a partial job is if I bid it over the phone and I get to the job and they miscounted, and they said 25, we went through everything and it ends up being 45. Well, I said, "Hey, I told you it'd be, $25 or 25 windows worth. Like you could pick 25 windows." Usually they're always like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, do your thing." But yeah, it's the minimums are hard, but I will 100,000% put my minimums or starting ats on everything that I do. I won't normally do like pricing out there. Sometimes I'll do like a 20 window special to give people ideas, but some people are like, "Oh, I don't want to tell anybody because somebody's going to underbid me," because I want people to know my minimum's $199 so that if somebody calls thinking it's going to be $12, they're not even going to call because I don't want to waste their time and I surely don't want to waste my time.
Yeah. I got a message from somebody this past week, very, very large company. They do a lot of different things with glass installation, everything. And they were bidding in an area and somebody in the area, they started hearing the name a lot of this particular company. And so they went and did a bid for somebody they knew. And when they went and did the bid, this person had also gotten a bid from this other company that was just lowballing. So the message was, how am I supposed to compete with this? And it's kind of exactly what you said. You don't. You do your prices, you keep to your prices, and you're going to get customers. But most likely what was funny that the person said was, this person can't keep up with their work though. So, yep, exactly. So
they're also not going to stay with it when they realize that they're working really, really hard for $12.
Exactly.
And I always say this is cliche. If anybody's listened to podcasts, they've heard it 100 times. But if I'm going to sell you something right now, SteveO, and you have to pick one of them, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's $1, $10, or $1,000. Which one would you pay? Well, it'll almost never be the $1,000. It'll 50% of the time never even be $10 because you're like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll give you $1 and gamble. But as soon as I tell you it's a brand new Ferrari, right, as far as exaggerations go, now you'd buy 5 of them at 1,000 because you know the value. You know what you're getting. Right. It's if anybody focuses on price, and there's always people who are going to be cheaper, and there's always people you're just never going to be able to. If somebody's doing it for $20, let them do it for $20. But if somebody asks you, why are you charging $150, don't ever be ashamed to tell them the reasons why. Absolutely. It's not that we clean the better window, because clean is clean. Nobody cares. What else things do you do for it? Like, what is your value? What is your unique selling point? What makes you you, or what makes people want to go to Victor? Yep. People hire Victor because he's Victor. What makes him Victor, you know?
Yep, exactly. Victor also asked SteveO, what do you usually charge for a 2,000 square foot home, inside and outside? Damien answered that pretty well with depends on window pane, screens, and tracks. So yes, it really depends on that. I have never been one to price off of square footage. I've never, ever done it. I don't think it would be a good idea because you could have a 2,000 square foot glass house, or you could have a 2,000 square foot. My home is a little under 2,000 square feet, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 8 windows. I have like the smallest amount of windows, you know? So like that would be a minimum charge most likely to do that. Or, you know, I would have to say though, but probably like the average amount in my area is $250. I would have to say for like a 2,000 to 3,000 square foot home. I think that would be a general amount that I would see in my area. But then you could have a 3,000 square foot home be a $500 job. You know, just in my neighborhood, I do a lot of 16 panes exactly, Damien. So not much. And then I don't know where I was going with that.
You went off 16 panes, got you. I want to start an argument here, but Jacob just said, clean is clean. No one cares. So you would use regs to clean windows, Josh? Yeah, that's A, exactly what I was saying. But B, if you use regs and you use a squeegee or you use a water-fed pole and you got the windows clean, then yes, clean is clean. Clean is the answer. There is either clean or not clean. If you see a mark on a window, then it's not clean. So yes, absolutely clean is clean. You can't sell on how clean you get a window. That never, ever can come out of your mouth, because in somebody's brain, before anything happens, they're hiring you to they're going to get cleaned. It's clean. Like, there is clean. There's either clean or not clean. If you leave and you did it with regs and it looks like a horse sneezed on their windows, then it's not clean. Then that's different. That's not clean.
Yes. Jay said it very well here. Clean and not clean, but customer experience is everything. And yes. I think we talk about that a lot on here, but that is literally like what it's about. Yes, you have to have a good product, but like I was so bad in this for so long, in that when I first started window cleaning, I literally thought, like, in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, watch how fast I am cleaning your windows. And then I didn't talk to the customer. I was just like in and out, just like, oh, they must have been impressed. I got that done so fast. It looks so good. It was the stupidest thought. And the time that I remember Alex started working with us, and I said, you know, I'm starting to find that like we get to these customers' homes and they don't even remember me from, I've been here 3 times and they don't remember me. And then she said, yeah, it's because like you just work your ass off and you don't talk to them. And then boom, started talking to them and everything changed. Yeah. Everything changed. I only asked them about them. I never talked about myself. It wasn't about the window cleaning. It was about, hey, Steve's coming to clean the windows. We get to have a good chat while he cleans up my house, and boom, you know, it's done, and I'm happy to bring him back again. And I remember him, you know, that's the crazy thing.
The reason, it's the same reason that when you buy an Apple product, the box is as expensive as the product. You know, when you buy an Apple anything, every single face inside is covered with plastic. There's no need for that. That's not really to protect against anything. What it is so that when you get it, you get to peel the most satisfying. It's an experience. We sell a luxury service. And just like Chase said, I don't get hired because I'm cleaning the windows the best. I'm hired because I have consistent results and I provide top-notch customer experience. The experience is why people hire a luxury. You go and buy a car from a certain place because they bring you champagne, right? You go and shop at a certain place because you could buy anything on Amazon. You could buy anything on eBay. But if you're going to a place that's for that experience, that's what we have. When people don't have the experience, those are the people who are like, well, you should hire me because I'm so detail oriented. I clean. No, you're selling the wrong things. You're absolutely selling the wrong things. Anyway, Che is also the healthiest guy in all of window cleaning. You know that.
I think Che here in just a couple of years is going to have a huge old company. I just feel it.
He's a rock star.
I just think it's going to happen. I want to talk real quick about a question that Glass Monkey, Michael Lasser, just asked. And thank you, Michael Lasser. Michael Lasser sent me 2 bronze wool pads about 6 months ago, and I saved it for this job that I had to use on the other day. So thank you, Michael Lasser.
Nice.
But do any of you charge for basement window wells? Now, from what I know too, though, in that, like, talking to Austin, is that in Texas, there's not really basement window wells. Like, to him, he had never seen that when he's seen it in my videos. So yes, I do charge more. I do about 1.5 times what a normal window. So like when we were at like $10 or something like that for regular windows, we were always at 15 for the window wells, because window wells stink. They're hard to get into.
They're always gross.
It's
like,
horrible.
could you imagine doing a whole house of window wells like that look like that where you can't even see out of them? It'd be a construction clean.
Yep. Every one of them has hard water. You got bugs everywhere. You got to look out for snakes. You got to save a rabbit. You know, it's a whole entire ordeal that takes a while.
You got to take the rabbit away from the snake. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Exactly. Jim one time sent us a picture, and he was about to get in, and I think it was a bull snake, but I mean, just a massive bull snake just coiled up, and he hates snakes. Like, oh man, it would have been bad. But yeah, I think it's a very smart idea to up that, because it is going to take you longer. Just like you would increase the price of a large family room window, it's the same idea there. That's going to take you longer to clean. And that's just like where the rule comes in. I don't know if you ever did this, but like if we got to a job and we looked at the thing and we said, you know, this job's going to suck. Like, this job's going to stink. I personally do not think that there's anything wrong in that adding $50 or $100 to your bid because of that element. Now, if you're a person that itemizes out your bids and you're talking to the person, you have 15 double hungs, you have blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. I give them a bulk price of inside out, outside only, gutters, and solar. So, you know, I just don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if you saw a bunch of, you know, window wells and they were just covered and you wanted to charge $25 for each window well. I don't think there's an issue with that.
We charge for our hours of time. Like, you know, with knowledge, I'm going to charge you more for my hour of time. But if something takes me an hour to do, if I could do 10 things in that same hour, I'm going to charge 1/10 of the price than I will for that. So yeah, I mean, these guys are talking about dead cats and stuff. I've done some crazy, terrible stuff, but I mean, you charge for it, you know, and I'm not going to step over dollars to make pennies. So I'm going to make sure I make it for it.
Yeah.
By the way, great question by him. Great question by that.
Yeah, that was very good. Roman asked, how much you guys charge for storm windows? I saw a bunch of people commenting on that, so I think you got kind of answered, but don't be afraid to charge a lot for storms. I think you are even probably the highest price I've ever heard. As far as what was the highest price that you got to with your company for charging for storms? I
was at 40 a storm, which isn't terrible, but if it was a storm, double hung storm French window type combo, I think the most I charged for a window was like maybe 70 for one window. I think maybe that was one window, but it was bad glazing on a 9x9 storm with aluminum clad on wooden pour glaze. Like, it was just like one window took us probably, I mean, that job took us, probably took almost an hour to do one window. I bet it was bad.
I think Victor has the award tonight for the best comments. Did a beach house and it was attacked by seagulls last month. What a pain in the rear.
That's great. By the way, in American Window Cleaning Magazine, we just started this thing where we want to get people's horror stories and publish horror stories. I think it would be such a great thing, and no one is sending anything in. So
that's because, like, I have a video where I talk about like 2 of my biggest horror stories being in a home, and it's kind of scary putting that out there because
Be anonymous. We could be anonymous. I could be anonymous.
Yeah, it would have to be anonymous.
What I'm this is also not a story I would necessarily go, but I've had times where I've been walking on a roof and there was like skylights, and you start cleaning skylights, and the person down underneath the skylight sees the shadow, and they look up, and it was a lady on the toilet, and you just heard her go, like you can hear it, and then you look through the window, and you're like, oh wow, there's this naked lady running off the toilet. I'm like,
oh man, this is a good one from Mark. I'm going to mispronounce your last name, Klodzinski. My true story: made a woman get pissed and pray for me in church on the pro page. What? Oh my gosh. Real quickly though, Craig had a couple good questions with storms that a lot of people don't talk about because they're always talking about just charging for an overall storm. But there's a lot of things that can happen with storms. So the first question was, what do you charge for storm windows that are painted shut? I have personally done that so many times, but I never knew really until I got to the job, because it was always like somehow I chose the right storm to take apart when I did the bid, and it was very easy. But we had a bed and breakfast here in our town that Jim does. He still does it, but I used to do it with him all the time. It was the worst. He painted the storms every year. Every single year, just thick paint. So every year, just sitting there, just cutting each one out. Man, you know what I would tell you, Craig? If someone did that, I wouldn't do the job. It is such a pain in the butt. It is not worth the time. If they really want to pay for it, fine. Huh?
I was going to say, you know what I say? If I attempt a window and it's not even that it's painted shut, it just doesn't function, I'll stop, and we always go to the homeowner and say, hey, just so you know, the second window in your bedroom does not function, and it's just not good for our insurance to force something. If you want to try to open it, we'd love to do it if you want to take it apart. Otherwise, we could just clean the inside and the outside, and then the in-betweens, unfortunately, will stay. And they're always like, that window's always giving us trouble, and we just don't do it. Because I've broken every window that I've ever broken, as far as my brain can remember, was a storm. And it was because something didn't get, and I was, and then, there you go. You break it, and you're like, this is so stupid. If I just didn't do it, I wouldn't have to break a window. Because as a window cleaner, breaking a window is like the most, it happens, but it's the most insult to your ego ever when you're like, I'm known as the window cleaner broke a window kind of thing,
I've only broken one window my whole career. It was a storm window, and it was the last window of the job, and the customer was right here behind me, and they're almost done. It was a basement window, and this one had just 2 screws to go in to put it in, and boom, just cracked the whole thing. And you could tell that I just put a little too much pressure, because like the frame bent right where the screw was, and he goes, oh, looks like you put a little too much pressure. I was like, yeah, you think so? But funny enough, he was right there. He was like, don't worry about it. He's like, but it was a cheap storm. It wasn't anything. It was like on a basement that you screwed in. So he's like, I'm going to get it taken care of. Wrote us a 5-star review. That's the best story I could ever talk about, a broken window.
Yeah. I've personally done 2 storm windows. I've had probably maybe 6 or 8 windows as a company, but it's always a single pane storm window that tweaks. And we had a lady one time was sitting out right behind the windows that were getting done. She's reading a book, and the guy moves it, and you just hear, and you can hear that glass break. And she's reading a book, and she looks up and she goes, oh, and then goes back to reading her book. It's like, so now we got to get the paint out. And we're like, all right, we're going to get it fixed. She's like, yeah, whatever. Right. We had a great glass company.
Here's a good question from Vegas Collector. You guys always talk about these horror stories about bad jobs. Have you ever told the customer, sorry, we can't do this after scheduling the job? Now, are you kind of talking about you schedule the job, you get there and then say no, or you scheduled it and then you thought about it more and you were like, no, I'm not going to do it?
I've had multiple jobs, multiple meaning at least 2 that I can remember, but probably 3 that I've just walked in. I had one job I started. I was 2 windows in. Well, the guys were, and we're like, nope, you know what? We're not the company for you. She was already yelling, telling us that how we could do. One of the guys, squeegee, was dry on the glass, and the second window, as he did it, it went, made the noise. And she just threw the thing down, stood up. She goes, I don't get how you can make all this noise. This whole house is going to, and she just started yelling second window. We're like, nope, this is the 3rd thing. We were there for already 10 minutes. I had another lady who I showed up, did the bid, and they remodeled their house. And we went over everything. And it was literally, they took the back of their house. I'd never seen anything like it. They built a glass wall on the back of their house. So there was a house, and then there was concrete which was their yard, and then a glass wall. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen ever. 2 stories high. The house was still there. The siding was still there inside this glass thing. And I said, this is not, you've tripled the windows. You didn't tell us about this. She said, no, you asked how many windows I had on the house. These windows aren't on the house. I said, well, then I'm not going to be able to clean those windows. And she goes, that's when she said, well, I hope it's not because I think she was Indian. She goes, well, I hope this isn't because I'm Indian. And I'm like, oh, no, you're pulling the race card. I'm done. We're already done. Pack up. We're not the company. We're not charging you anything. Write a bad review.
We had a customer that we had cleaned once. It went fine. I went there on my own. Everything was good. It was a very paranoid customer, but very wealthy, had a very nice home, and went to do it. And basically over the phone, before we went to do it the second time, the customer had asked, hey, I just have some blinds that I would just like snapped in on these top windows. Everything's up there. All you got to do is, just flip that thing up, push it in, boom. I said, okay, if it's as simple as that, then like we're good to go. We get there. That is not what it is. The old blinds are still up. And the customer said, okay, what you need to do is on-drill the old blinds, drill new holes for the brackets, put that all in. And I remember Jim and I looking at each other, and Jim pretty much took the initiative on it. And he's like, let me take care of this. Just start cleaning. And then all of a sudden, Jim comes up to me and goes, we're leaving. So this all happened in like 3 minutes. So we're leaving, and this guy is cussing us out the house, just saying every bad word possible. Just so mad. And he's like, just take it for trade for something else that you're doing. It was like, no, you're not understanding. Like, we're not just like do it all, just jack of the trades. Yeah. Like, that's not what we do. We're here to clean your windows. This same customer, when I went up to his house before, I'd cleaned his gutters out, and he had to drop off about 50 feet off one side too of his home. And I'd gotten up on the roof, and he was like, and there's just a steep area. And I was like, sorry, man. I'm like, I'm not going over there. It's just not happening. He goes, you're a window cleaner. You're not supposed to be scared of heights. I kind of shut my mouth at that time, but he was literally like probably 130 pounds soaking wet. And he's like, hey, I have all this rope. You can get in the harness. I'll be on the other side and hold you. And I'm thinking to myself, I am like 215 pounds. There's no way that if I fall off that building, or I fall off the side, you're just coming with me. Like there's no stopping, Yeah. But it was just, it's amazing sometimes to me how customers, what other career could you do where the customer could try to tell you how to do the work? Okay, maybe if you're at Subway, they could tell you how they want their sandwich made because it's right there in front of them. Yeah. But like I heard somebody else talk about this the other day that they said in Pro, they said a customer said they didn't want water-fed pole at all, so I did it trad. And to me, that is an uneducated customer, and that's your fault as the actual company that you couldn't have the confidence to tell them. Or I get it. Maybe they had a bad person do water-fed pole. I've never had a call back for water-fed pole. Never. Because if you do it right and you have patience with it, then you can do it well. But if you just say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do whatever the customer wants, I don't think that's the right opinion in window cleaning as far as them dictating what tool you're going to use to clean a window.
Well, it would be like somebody coming in your house to paint. You pay them to paint your house, and you go, oh, I don't want you to use that synthetic. I need you to use a real boar's hair. And they'd be like, what? They would not. Nobody would go, oh, yes, okay, let me go back to the store and get. Nobody would do that because they know what they're doing. Yeah. It's that same concept.
Oh, yeah. But I went off there. So
there's a great question by Taylor. Taylor Moodulf. Oh, wait, no, it just combined in Moody. Okay. Taylor Moody. If you were starting a window business and there's already 23 window cleaning businesses in your area, what would you do? I would start by saying, do you know what your USP is? Do you know what if all 23 of you were standing in a row, right? You could not say one word about a dollar amount or a price or anything. And they went down the road and I said, why do I hire you, Taylor? What's your answer? That's your unique selling point. If you tell me something that the guy right next to you says, oh yeah, me too, that's not unique. You can't sell on that, right? So what's your unique selling point? Why does somebody hire you?
Right. Were you asking me that?
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought.
Sorry. If you were starting a window cleaning business and there's already 23 window cleaning businesses in the area, what would you do?
I wouldn't care. Oh, because this is okay. So I mean, you got to think about it in any area. I think the most common thing that we hear is, oh my gosh, I'm going to start a window cleaning company because there's not a window cleaning company in my area. There is a window cleaning company in your area. So to me, that is just making the difference of being different from another window cleaning company. And that if you do things right, you get everything done with your business as far as insured, everything like that, you can grow the business. I wouldn't be scared by that. That's all I can pretty much say to make you feel better, but I would not be scared by that at all. There's always somebody who is going to want to try out your business, even if they tried the other 23. They're going to want to try your business. So I would never let that discourage you. Think about Starbucks, McDonald's. Think about these places where they will set up a McDonald's or Starbucks, 2 blocks away from each other. I mean, maybe Starbucks, I'm at McDonald's, but think about that. And they're still not in competition with each other. Yes, it's the same product. Window cleaning could be a similar product as far as what the companies are. So that's how I feel about it. I don't think that should be a discouragement for you at all.
Yeah, there's a corny saying called chase the dream, not the competition, because there's always going to be some of those people who are racing to the bottom. There's always going to be a $99 guy. Those aren't the guys that you're competing against. And you may be new in business, so you may not actually know this, but there's a certain point in business when you decide, that you're the best one for the job. Like, yeah, of course. Like they tell you they hired somebody else, and in your brain, you're like, oh man, that was a mistake. When you're confident in what you do, you have to then know why you're awesome, why you're not the other guy. Not what they do wrong, but what you do right.
Yeah, exactly.
There's another couple ones. Dry edge text said, anyone ever have a water-fed brush leave scratches on a window? Now, on a window is different than on glass. So if you have some type of tint that's really crappy tint or something, and you got rocks in your brush or something, you didn't clean them out, you didn't take care of it maybe, but no brush anywhere could scratch glass. Not anywhere, not ever, not know how.
Right.
Glass is really, really strong. Not breaking, but like scratching. That's the.
You ever had one of those moments where you're putting like your pole, like you're not like this, but like this, and onto a window, and you're not like thinking of it, like trying to get that pressure of the brush to move, and the windows don't break. Like I've thought about that a couple of times. I've done that a couple of times and came home and thought about like, what was I thinking? Like trying to get a boar hair brush to move at an odd angle, and you get that catch, and you're just pushing it through.
Well, and there's a difference. So just like carbon fiber. So carbon fiber, right? If the wrap is this way, and we take that pole and we do this with it, it'll break, right? But if you do this with it and move everything, it doesn't break, right? So carbon fiber is the same like glass. Glass, you could take your fist and push your fist through a window because you're taking a window and you're pushing the force this way. But to scratch glass, now it gets into the hardness of glass. And don't take my word for it, anybody's. Go look at the Hun scale, Hun, whatever, and see what it is. That's why razors can't scratch glass. That's why no brushes can scratch glass because of the fiber thickness, density, toughness. But if there's a rock is always harder than, not always, most of the time harder than glass, and a rock will scratch glass. Like a diamond cutting a diamond, something's got to give. Yeah. Anyway, JPS, any ideas for when work gets slow? Which is a great topic right now because, again, some people are slow, some people aren't. Like any other kind of work that meshes well with window cleaning, pressure washing, trash can cleaning, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah. JP, where are you located at again? I feel like I should know the answer to that.
He's saying trash cans. I'm guaranteeing he's probably somewhere warmer.
Right. As I was thinking. Trash can cleaning has come to ours. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Trash can cleaning, I heard, is really, really good. I know a guy who does a ton of, like, literally has an entire truck dedicated to trash can cleaning. And the only reason he does it is to get people to buy other services. So he goes in there, he sells the stuff, $20 a can. He shows up and he goes, oh, by the way, we do this. And it's just like literally scheduling, like having somebody pay you to have a meeting with them.
Wow.
Genius, pretty genius.
So the guy in my area, I was at a home one time and he came up to clean up. I asked him and I was kind of surprised that the rates were actually so low for it. I was like, oh man.
If you get it on a route though, it takes 2 minutes. Yes. It's completely automated, and you could do it every 2 weeks or something. They get it on, something.
Yeah, it could be. And I guess they're selling those trucks like down in Florida. You can buy them down in the South. That's what he did. He flew to Florida, and they are really, really nice rigs. I mean, totally done up. All the advertising look awesome.
You literally walk the can up, push a button, and it does everything.
Yeah.
Drops down a fresh, clean can. Yeah, he's in Phoenix, by the way.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, Phoenix, that would be a good business. Gosh, and now Phoenix though has a whole. When I talk to people in Arizona, I feel like the schedule is so much different because when you talk to them, like when we be busy in the spring, for some reason that's maybe I'm wrong on this. There's just their times are odd.
Yeah,
kind of like Florida, and that like
a mixed season almost.
Yeah,
well, they got haboobs. Haboobs is like their rainy season. It is like a dust storm. They're called haboobs, but in the summer they have like monsoon season basically. And that's like their winter. So then as soon as that comes off this time of year, then they start kind of getting more into being busy. But it's you have to find your season, kind of work with it. But Christmas lights, somebody said, Christmas lights are so much money. So I know, but there's so much money. You're talking about every job's $1,000 minimum, and you're doing like a roof line. Like lease the lights, you keep the money for it's so much money in it. But if you're in the type of market where it becomes busy at the end of the year, then it's not great because now you're tacking on. I know a guy who does like $380,000 in Christmas lights alone, and that's just what he does on top of his window cleaning company.
Right. I don't get into it because I enjoy that time of year. I just chill. It's nice. It's good. Well, we are here at an hour, so.
I want to say Dry Edge just said, I was watching a Solo Jersey podcast. I just wanted to say that part.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Smart
You
guy.
were recommending something about dog poop?
Hashtag
right?
Jersey. I believe you said the podcast was dog poop.
That's a great podcast talking about dog poop and all that good stuff. So, yeah, anyways.
I've done that podcast every week for 5 years. Sometimes you run out of things to say.
Oh, yeah. I feel you, man. I'd be honest, like that's the deal with like my channel right now is I come up with ideas of like stuff to film, and there are so many days that I am filming and I'm just like, I just don't feel like it. And that I'll be honest with you guys, that's a general amount of time anymore. And that like to do a vlog takes me like the perfect like attitude that day to like want to do it. But it's also fun in that I was talking to Joshua, the window cleaner, about this once, and that he was just saying, after doing it for so long of filming and stuff while you're at jobs, it's nice to take that camera off and never do that again.
Yeah.
It's really, really, it's odd because probably hardly any of you know that, like that feeling of that. And it's
you're thinking about it on top of cleaning. Like the benefit to cleaning windows sometimes is you just get lost in it.
Exactly.
You don't have to think about anything, but now you do.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is not real quick, not hijacking the thing, but Craig said that he wants a video of me cleaning windows, and you actually got to see me clean windows.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't as bad as you thought, right?
It was so good. Yeah, I would hire him.
I'm just saying.
It was good. Yes, you know what you're doing. I tried to teach them how to use a 10 degree on the pole, but
you did like 30-foot windows with a pole, and it made me gross in my head. I didn't even watch. I never once looked up there because I'm like, nope, because I'm going to see a streak and it's going to piss me off. I had PTSD come back. I just had PTSD.
First thing Josh said when I first cleaned one, he goes, "Is this the quality you usually do?"
That was me busting your balls. But.
And I was like, "It's the WCR office. It's fine." Yeah. I had a wet microfiber. I was detailing with their streaks everywhere. I didn't care. Good.
Wasn't it good though seeing somebody has never cleaned a window but knows everything about window cleaning? Like there was some office people that clean windows, and it was hilarious watching them. It's like, what we do is kind of a craft.
Yeah, and you try to like explain it, and there's no possibility of it. Like, don't use that much pressure. Oh, but you have to use like a little bit more pressure. Yeah. Well, what do you think is the right one? Oh man,
I watched a SteveO video and he just does this. It's got to be that easy, and they walk up there and go, yeah, it's like crap, and they're like, something's wrong.
We got to see Alex clean windows though. That was cool. He got in there right away and started doing it. So it was fun. It was a good time. Well, we will be back though, and we will be back in 2 weeks, and we'll keep the schedule consistent. Now, I don't see any reason why we have any times coming up really that we won't be here. So I hope you all are having a great start to fall. Get business rolling. Email everybody. Call everybody that you possibly can. I'm sure some of you are just busy as heck and are scheduled through. So thanks for all coming on tonight, for not announcing it. We got over 50 people watching usually, so thanks for coming. I talked about doing a trad poll giveaway for this one. We got so lost in the month. We will do one for the next one. I promise for that, and I'll get the link set up for the next time. And yeah, we'll be all good. Jersey, you got anything to close us out?
I do. If you haven't subscribed to SteveO yet, please do that. You're literally on his channel right now. He is just a new YouTuber, just trying to make it. Follow him and subscribe to him. And yeah, if you do want a magazine, AWC magazine, go to awc.mag.com/sub.
And there's always a link in the description of these lives for going straight to AWC and getting your subscription. So it's been great, y'all. We will see you next time. Peace.
Peace.